falsifying accounts, destruction of evidence and criminal conspiracy. In court, the CBI argued that Manish Sisodia generated illegal profits through the liquor policy in a secret conspiracy with top liquor barons in the city. The CBI has argued that custodial interrogation is essential for a proper probe, and the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi has been evasive in his replies. Sisodia argued in court that the liquor policy was cleared by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi in 2021, adding that he has replied to all summons and there is no legal ground for custodial interrogation, as silence is not the same as non-cooperation. He also argued that the CBI has all of his devices and he has nothing to hide. The Aam Aadmi Party workers hit the streets in protests across the country, accusing the BJP of political vendetta, calling the charges completely false. However, the party has much to answer as no court has dismissed the case so far. In fact, with Manish Sisodia, 9 suspects have been arrested in connection with this case. Remember, no court has dismissed the case against Satyendra Jain as well, who has been in jail for over 5 months in a money laundering case. The question remains, with no relief from courts, can the Aam Aadmi Party duck corruption charges?
सिर्फ और सिर्फ राजनीतिक कारणों से और अपने घोटालों पर पर्दा डालने के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने मनीष सिसोदिया को गिरफ्तार किया।
कानून अपना काम कर रहा है। जो जांच एजेंसी हैं वो ईमानदारी से भ्रष्टाचारियों को कानून के तहत कार्रवाई करती हैं। दूसरी तरफ कट्टर बेईमान और अराजक अपराध पार्टी ना संविधान का सम्मान करती है, ना न्यायालय का सम्मान करती है, ना जनता का सम्मान करती है।
So what was the nature of arguments that played out in the Rouse Avenue court today? Let me take you through the arguments. The CBI, that is the Central Bureau of Investigation, has argued that Manish Sisodia directed the creation of a new cabinet note on changes in the policy. Manish Sisodia's battery of lawyers who were present today said that Mr. Sisodia actually had this entire policy approved by the Lieutenant Governor in 2021, that is Mr. V.K. Saxena, and hence it is the Lieutenant Governor who should explain as well. The Central Bureau of Investigation claims that Mr. Sisodia generated illegal profits via this liquor policy and that there is a conspiracy which was hatched in a secret manner. Sisodia's lawyers have argued that he has been raided, his devices have been seized, and he has always appeared when he has been summoned by the investigating agencies. The CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation, has argued that it seeks the phone used by Sisodia since 2020. So all the telephone sets that he may have used should be given to the Central Bureau of Investigation for going through the data which can be retrieved from those sets. Manish Sisodia has argued that he does not have it, saying that he is a minister and he cannot give a phone for second-hand use. The CBI says that Mr. Manish Sisodia, who was questioned twice, almost like 8 hours yesterday, after that he was arrested, has been evasive in his replies. Manish Sisodia says that he has a right not to incriminate himself, adding that silence is not the same as non-cooperation. There are some more details in the case that has been accessed by CNN News 18. Number one, what is being said by the investigating agency is the clincher here is the case of missing file. The file which has details of the excise policy, the details of what was the draft is missing. The file, in fact, had signatories and the entire process of decision making. Where is that file? Manish Sisodia could not give answers about the whereabouts of that file. And then there is also the case of missing phones. CBI, in fact, has evidence of 18 handsets, 4 SIM cards that were used in that very small period from August 2021 to September 2022, for a period of a year, in fact. 3 mobile phones were used for 1 SIM card after the FIR was registered. Almost all handsets used are missing or have been destroyed, is what the CBI says. And then the biggest clincher is the aide in this case, that is Dinesh Arora, who has not turned an approver till now, but his statement has been recorded by the CBI, which says clearly that he acted at the behest of Mr. Sisodia, and he has told that instructions on changes to policy were made informally. That changes were made in this policy to benefit new liquor vendors. Some piece of breaking news coming in now. And this is the big breaking news coming in from the Central Bureau of Investigation sources who are indicating the evidence that is there against Mr. Sisodia, and it says that there is a larger conspiracy with an alleged South group or South lobby to benefit them through excise policy. Sources say the investigation has shown that excise policy was framed in a way to promote cartelization and monopoly, adding that evidence suggests 100 crore kickback paid in return. Sources are telling CNN News 18 that there is evidence that has been recovered to show that the South Group stayed in a Delhi hotel from 14th to 17th of March, and they used their business center to photocopy and print documents which were allegedly made part of the GOM note on the excise policy, which was presented by Manish Sisodia. In fact, evidence has been gathered in the form of chats of this South group, which shows a massive profit margin of 12%. Sources are saying that Manish Sisodia will be confronted with all this evidence in the next 5 days. Arunima is joining me live. Arunima, it clearly appears that the CBI may well have a watertight case here.
You know, so far this question was being put to CBI time and again as to why have you not arrested Manish Sisodia if he is your accused number 1 in the FIR. When he was arrested, the question was put to CBI again, that is this political vendetta, that when you did not have evidence, yet you questioned him and then arrested him. So now CBI officials, after the court has appreciated the evidence that they have and has extended 5 days police custody, now they are willing to share exactly what is the evidence against Mr. Sisodia. If you give me 2 minutes, I can just break down what CBI has so far. Number 1, the charge that the overall margin was increased from 5% to 12% for those who were applying for the license. The CBI's charge is that in lieu of this, 100 crore rupees was taken by Vijay Nair, an alleged close associate of Manish Sisodia, upfront as an advance kickback. The second charge is that there was an expert committee that was formed in 2021-2022 to study what was being proposed in terms of the new excise policy. What the expert group suggested, this is what CBI claims, was not to the liking of Manish Sisodia. So then legal advice was taken, and this expert committee report was also thrown up for public comment. But again, what was the feedback given by the legal experts was not to their liking. The CBI alleges that the GOM was then formed to overshadow and to overstep what the legal experts were suggesting. Now, how was this GOM recommendation also brought about? What was the conspiracy there? We just told our viewers that the South Group, which is a loose name for all those who were from the southern part of India and who were part of this greater cartel as per CBI and ED, they had come to Delhi and they stayed at a Delhi hotel between 14th and 17th of March. On 18th March, Manish Sisodia handed over a draft of the GOM recommendation with all those details that the South Group had photocopied and printed at the business center. There are witnesses who suggest that these two were identical. What Sisodia put up before GOM and what the South Group had printed at the hotel were identical. But what was the process of formulation of this GOM report that Mr. Sisodia presented? That file is missing. That is the allegation of conspiracy number 1. Number 2, there are 2 suggestions that has been recovered by CBI by accessing the chats of various members of this South group. And in those chats, at least 2 recommendations which were finally included in the GOM recommendations have also come up. What CBI is alleging is that there was an application moved by Indo Spirits. This was owned by Mr. Mahendru. And this was the second application that he was moving in contravention of the laid down procedure. Immediately after the application was filed, Mr. Sisodia allegedly told the excise commissioner that this must be approved. What CBI is asking is, how did the minister know that a second application was being filed so soon? He had no business to know unless there was a conspiracy.
Several conspiracies that the evidence of which may well be with the Central Bureau of Investigation. Arunima, appreciate your time. Let me bring in my guests. GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament of the BJP, Hari Shankar Gupta, Congress spokesperson, Priyanka Kakkar, Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, Shantanu Sen, former Joint Director of the CBI, Kapil Sankla, senior lawyer. Priyanka Kakkar, a case of missing file, multiple phone sets used. There is statement recorded of those who have been closely associated with Mr. Sisodia, and now more evidence in terms of the South group involved in conspiracy. How long will the Aam Aadmi Party continue to say that this is witch hunt?
Good evening, Maria. It will take a few years now to absolve us of these charges because that court takes that much time. But I can tell you, Maria, even today, you may have read excerpts from the charge sheet, but the CBI had a very different argument in court. The CBI said the policy was communicated verbally. They did not talk about handing over any draft policy. It may be in the charge sheet, but the argument was verbal. There are other such lacunas. You spoke about 3 mobile phones and 1 SIM. When the mobile phone was confiscated by the CBI in the last interrogation, he is a minister who holds 18 portfolios. He needs a new mobile set and a new same SIM will be used. Anyway, now the thing, Maria, is that, okay, there is an investigation ongoing. We have already been in jail without even the charges being proved. Now the question arises that there was this company in Mauritius which had on one pata, there were 6 companies and they transferred 42,000 to Adani. When will the JPC sit on that? Who did that money belong to? Whether it belonged to Ugrawadis, whether it belonged to a drug cartel, whether it belonged to Bhajpa, how will we ever know? Because there is no judge. You are doing judges on us.
Okay.
Keep doing judges on us. No, we will face them.
Priyanka, my question to you is straight. We are asking questions to the Aam Aadmi Party because your Deputy Chief Minister is in custody now for an alleged corruption. I'm saying alleged corruption because corruption has to be proved. For the longest time, you have been trying to duck the question by raising other issues, like in case of Satyendra Jain, you said that he was in charge of Himachal Pradesh and that is the reason why he has been targeted. There is no election where there is a direct face-off between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party.
There is Adani. It is not about election. There is Adani. The diversionary tactic has been used by Bhajpa. There is Adani. We've been demanding a JPC. We've been asking on whose instructions did you use the investors' money, which जो छोटे निवेशक LIC में पैसा लगाते हैं, उनका पैसा आपने अदानी शेयर में किसके कहने पे लगाया? SBI ने किसके कहने पे लगाया?
It's very clear that as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, they'll continue to use this argument.
Maria, on
because
your show, I have extensively answered on liquor policy.
Yes.
I recall.
So let's respond to this, GVL Narasimha Rao. The question is, what about the BJP? If you are facing certain questions, will you be responding to it?
Maria, I think the Aam Aadmi Party is certainly very uncomfortable with all the corruption in this case. Is obvious to the viewers, obvious to the people. The manner in which the policy was, the manner in which, I did not interject. It only shows your impatience. Please wait for your turn. The Aam Aadmi Party, which went around the whole country claiming to be a party of honest from the heaven, today finds itself in such an in a corner. The corruption in this case, this is a textbook case of corruption. The whole thing,
published a booklet.
You see,
Most
the
corrupt
manner
politicians.
in which commission was hiked obscenely from 2%
You have
to
asked
12%.
questions, let them respond.
The manner in which private vendors, I think waivers were given to them, running into nearly 150 crore rupees. The manner in which government shops were shut down and all the private shops, all the liquor shops were given to the private vendors. They were given the freedom to fix the prices they wished. They were allowed to open shops until 3 a.m. What did the Aam Aadmi Party, only for
This
the
is
sake of their
corruption.
youth,
That is why should be jailed.
did they want entire
Shops
Delhi
were
to
open till 3
did they
a.m.
want the entire Delhi to be converted into some kind of a toxic capital,
849 liquor
a
went
place where you can
before
come
the new
and
policy. Under the new policy also there were
so
849
I think they have not answered any of these questions. They are only using
Priyanka Kakkar,
political
you know,
route.
I
think you
have the
cannot run away
copy-
from the real
I
questions.
have
Please
the
answer the
copy
real questions.
of the
We have,
of
sir.
the cabinet
Give it to
note.
Adani. Why
This
don't
is the
you answer,
cabinet
sir?
note, ma'am, that was put forth by the Aam Aadmi Party when they went ahead to withdraw this entire policy. In this,
We
you are
have
saying, in this you have saying,
implemented. Can you
it is
please also
observed
who
that the
signed
reduction
that?
in number of vents to only 468 is affecting the government revenue adversely, and existing retail vendors are enjoying windfall gain at the cost of public exchequer on various accounts, including an account of non-opening closure of retail vendor. It is strongly emphasized that public interest is paramount and there should not be any loss to the government exchequer at any point, and hence there should not be either windfall gains. So you have accepted that there has been windfall gains, that there has been mistakes in this policy. If this policy was flawed and it was withdrawn, then there must have been something that has gone wrong, and that's what the CBI and the ED has investigated, and that is the reason why Mr. Sisodia is being questioned.
So you are saying that we gave a note and we said that, okay, we are not making enough profit from this policy and there windfall gains to others, and therefore you should withdraw it. That shows our corruption, you are saying? Or are you suggesting that during farm laws, when they introduced farm laws and they withdrew it and there was no question, 750 farmers died, you are saying that was all right? I am not sure what are you suggesting.
Okay.
Can you please clarify?
I would ask GVL Narasimha Rao to explain. GVL, this has been the argument. Just explain to her what exactly is the problem here.
No, Maria, the problem is I think they are short of answers. They are unable to defend themselves because this is an out and out a loot of public money. They are running away. There, for once she's going to Adani, another. We have debated all this, and we will debate them again. Today we are
Have an
discussing
investigation,
Manish
sir.
Sisodia.
Have an
We are
investigation.
discussing why he is
You
in
sent
jail.
us to jail.
We are
You sent us
discussing.
to jail.
We are
Have an
discussing serious
investigation.
charges of corruption against Mr. Sisodia, who was himself holding the charge of the excise ministry. Why did he, if the policy was all right, why did they have to rush and close down the policy? Why
why
did they,
did you
why did they,
withdraw the farm laws?
what is the source of this money,
What
the
does that
loot
note
that they
say,
made?
sir?
Why was the commission, just answer
Maria,
one question, why was the
Maria,
commission
can you read
hiked
the note again?
to 12%?
Can you read that note again? Can you
Can
read
you-
that note
can you
Let
again?
me bring in
can you
Shantanu
tell
Sen
the
and
people
Kapil
of Delhi
Sankla and
why the
also get a
commission-
word from
why
Harishankar
the
Gupta,
commission
because
was hiked to
you know I have to
12%
move
to give
away
a
from the
windfall gain to the
politicians to
private
Why
vendors?
don't you read
the
that
facts
note
now.
again?
Kapil Sankla, Mr. Sisodia is a very
Yes, please.
senior leader of the Aam Aadmi Party. For him to be arrested, and what the CBI has been saying in terms of destruction of evidence, and it has been also saying that there has been statements that have been recorded. Do you think the investigating agency has a watertight case? Or is this witch hunt as the Aam Aadmi Party
Let
is
me
saying?
answer it like this.
Yes.
Let me answer it like this. That when the CBI, when the prosecution went to the court and asked for remand, usually the maximum period of remand is asked. In this case, whatever period was asked. But the Honorable Court, after going through whatever evidence was on record, whatever was argued, and after listening, and very importantly, after listening to the defense lawyers, granted 5 days of police remand, police custody, so that the CBI or the prosecution or the investigating agencies can investigate the matter.
But isn't that
on the
routine?
grounds that evasive answers were being given? There's certain. No, this is not the norm. Wait, this is what I was saying. So the norm in a particular case would be probably 2 days or 3 days. When you're talking about 5 days, and also the norm can also be when the court would say there is no ample evidence right now, I am sending the accused to judicial custody. Should there be any evidence at future date, you can come. So in this case, once the Honorable Court, having gone through the material on record, has given 5 days of custody to the police, which basically shows that there is certain material on record that has weighed very heavy on the court. And also to understand, this has been after the court heard some, very, very good lawyers for the defense, arguing for the defense, who also argue not just on law, but basically on the politicization of the issue, which has also been argued by my very competent friend from Aam Aadmi Party. So as far as whether the CBI has watertight case, at this moment, we have to believe that what the CBI stated did play very heavy on the court. And secondly, an FIR like this would be made against any person, and a person would be sent to custody if the CBI or the prosecution comes and says that evasive answers are being given. There is a case of non-cooperation. So let me just say, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Just because you're rich, you're powerful, or you're a politician does not mean that you will not be treated like a common man in the court of law.
Okay. So it has played out before the court of law, and according to you, because 5 days of judicial custody has been given by the court, that is showing the direction in which the entire investigation is going, and perhaps the court realizes that the argument which has been put forth by the CBI may well be something that they would want the investigation to go in that direction. Coming on this, Shantanu Sen, CBI, ED, there are two investigating agencies that are investigating this liquor policy, which is being called as Liquorgate. Now, there is this entire twist, which of course was being spoken about in case of what is being seen as the South Group or South Lobby, and the alleged kickback that has been paid. The CBI clearly is going into the details. If you look at what Arunima got for us, it has spoken about the 12% revenue benefit for the cartel. The cartelization is something that the Aam Aadmi Party has also accepted in its cabinet note of withdrawal. Mr. Sen.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Look, the position is that this investigation has just started as far as Mr. Sisodia is concerned. Let us see how the case was registered. As you know, in 2018, the Law of Prevention of Corruption Act was amended, where the powers of the CBI were drastically curtailed. CBI could ab initio investigate cases where somebody was caught red-handed or somebody had assets disproportionate to his sources of income. In the case of corruption, the CBI's powers were taken away. CBI has no authority to investigate any case of corruption without the permission of the government, not even make any inquiry. Okay. This was done because it was found that CBI was making some investigations which were probably uncalled for. Whatever be that as it may, CBI cannot investigate corruption without the authority of the government. So this is a case which the Lieutenant Governor, on receiving voluminous reports and on being satisfied that a corruption case existed, has asked the CBI to investigate. The Government of India has agreed, and therefore CBI is authorized to investigate. CBI has registered an FIR. The FIR has not been challenged, it has not been quashed. So as far as the investigation is concerned, it will continue, and CBI will receive all the support, that is our law of the country, during investigation. It wants to arrest, go ahead and arrest. It wants to search, it can search. But on that investigation, as a CBI officer, I will come to no conclusion. Because I have had cases where I have got a conviction in the lower court and the case has been thrown by the High Court. And then again I have got a conviction in the Supreme Court. So we don't know the law. We don't know how the courts act. What is evidence before the court today may not be evidence tomorrow. So it's very clear that the FIR is prima facie good and the FIR is being investigated. And Mr. Manish Sisodia will feel the brunt of investigation, and so will other colleagues.
But Mr.
And
Sen,
we have to wait for their guilt.
Okay, Mr. Sen,
afterwards.
I want to understand
we
from
cannot
you.
pronounce any guilt now.
Yes.
And I am afraid
we will not
parallel
pronounce.
investigation by you parallel investigation by you is uncalled for.
Yes. So,
In our
Mr. Sen,
time,
I want
there
to
was
understand
something
from
known
you.
as confidentiality of investigation.
Yes.
Listen to me. There was confidentiality of investigation. They were not exposed. How is the CBI exposing the investigation? It is uncalled for. We were pulled up by the courts. We were told, you cannot discuss investigation, and the phrase was confidentiality of investigation. So I'm afraid you are on a wrong horse. You are discussing investigation. You have no authority to discuss investigation. You can discuss the FIR.
Mr.
You
Sen,
can invest the manner of
I
arrest.
want to understand
you can
from you,
invest the
sir.
custodial investigation.
Yes.
But you have no authority to discuss the findings.
Okay.
That has to wait till a charge sheet is filed.
Absolutely.
It is now only an FIR stage.
Absolutely.
All
I want to
lawyers are
understand from
present
you,
here,
sir.
all senior
I want to
members of the
understand from
panel
you.
are present here.
Yes.
They should only discuss the case
Okay,
after the case goes to trial.
Sure. So, I
Not
want to
now.
understand
Nothing
from you,
is
sir.
Open.
I want to
CBI
understand
is not
from
in
you,
the
sir.
open. CBI has not made any statement.
Okay. So, because
Therefore,
that is
please
coming
don't
from the
discuss
sources in the
investigation.
CBI, sir.
The
I want to
FIR
understand
is
from you.
justified.
Yes.
FIR is being investigated.
Mr. Sen,
Yes.
when Mr. Sisodia has appeared before the investigating agency every time he has been called, he is not a flight risk. He is a person of eminence. Why do you think a custodial interrogation is needed at all?
Because he has to be confronted with the accused. If the CBI wants 14 days custody, CBI might well get it, because that is the law of this land. During investigation, the court assists because the FIR is there. FIR has not been quashed. FIR is justified. Wait, why are you jumping the gun? At the present moment, he is facing investigation. He will be confronted with the accused. You have no authority to quote the CBI unless the CBI makes out a statement. This is not done. In our times, we were not allowed to do it. The court used to pull us up for releasing the confidentiality of investigation. I have investigated Krishnamurthy. I have investigated various officers of State Bank. I was not allowed to speak on these cases. How are you quoting them? This is not just justified.
Okay.
Therefore, don't jump the gun.
Okay.
Don't discuss investigation. FIR is fully justified because FIR has not been
Could I
quashed.
just say
Neither
something
they have asked
quickly,
for the
please?
Okay,
quashing of
Mr.
the FIR.
Sankla, make
I
your
think
point
so.
and then I go
FIR
back to
will
the
be
politicians.
investigated.
Yes,
Yes.
please. Yes.
I just want to say this to Mr. Sen and to everybody here. Nobody is discussing or derailing investigation. I think it is our fundamental right as citizens of India, and
Now,
also
how
the
are you
media
quoting
also has
CBI
the right
without a
to
CBI
discuss. Just a
statement?
second, Mr.
Just
Sen.
tell
Just
me
a
how are
second,
you
Mr.
quoting
Sen. You can
CBI
go on.
without
Let
a
allow
CBI
me a
statement?
second. All the time saying, sir, is that we are not
Yes, go
questioning
ahead.
the CBI. We are only discussing what is happening currently in the country and in Delhi. We are discussing what happened today in the court, and we are trying to understand it. There are certain eminent panelists, there are politicians, there are lawyers who are only discussing what has happened and how it might play out with the limited knowledge that we all have, either of law or of politics or of the media. That is
You
all
don't
that we
know
are
the
doing.
facts of
And also to
investigation.
say this,
You should not
the
know
other
the
thing that
facts
I
of
wanted to say very
investigation.
quickly is this: in an ideal world, nobody would be arrested. In an ideal world, unless and until it's a heinous crime or a crime against a person, what is going to happen is that the person would be released on his own personal bond. Unfortunately, this is not an ideal world. Unfortunately, people are arrested, and merely because a big politician or an important politician or a politician of some weightage has been arrested, as I said, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. What a common man suffers,
Okay.
any politician should also suffer.
Okay.
Unless the law is changed, this
Mr.
is the law which
Sankla,
is
are
the
you
same
saying
for
arrest
everyone.
means guilt? Mr. Sankla, are you saying arrest means guilt?
I am not saying arrest means guilt.
Are you
I am
saying
saying that if a common man gets arrested,
Then
sir, so can a
Arrest
politician
is
be
a process
arrested
of
when the
investigation.
circumstances are the same.
Arrest is a
That is what
process
I'm
of
saying.
investigation.
There is somebody
Arrest
else who is
will
also
take
being
place.
arrested.
If you are
so can
charged
he.
with crime,
In a
if I am charged
420
with crime,
case,
I will
in
be
a 420
arrested.
case,
That
if a
doesn't mean I
common
am
man
guilty
can
of
be
a crime.
arrested, or in a PCA Act case, somebody can be arrested, so
Surely.
can a politician. I am
I am not
challenging
questioning
it.
that,
I am
but
not saying that he is
arrest does
guilty.
not
All that
mean
I was
guilt.
saying, sir, is that if a common man can
Right.
suffer the fate,
He's
so
not
should a
guilty, he is
politician,
facing
unless and until you
investigation.
really change the law and make it a similar
Sure,
playing field for everyone.
sure,
That is all
he
that I
is
was
charged with crime, very serious crime. He should be arrested.
Yes, sir.
He should face investigation.
Yes, sir.
But he is not
saying. That's
guilty.
exactly what I was saying.
You agree?
That's exactly what
He
I
is
was
not
saying.
guilty. Yet,
I completely agree with you, sir.
Right.
The guilt will
That's
be
what I'm
decided by the
saying.
court, not by
I'm
us.
saying
but we
the
can
same
Yes,
thing.
discuss the
absolutely.
case, is what I would say.
Let's move back
Yes.
to the politicians. Hari Shankar Gupta, the point is, why is, we have seen kind of opposition unity whenever it has come to agencies being, politicians being investigated by agencies in the opposition space. Why is the Congress going all out against Aam Aadmi Party?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, आप उसको ऐसा ना समझें। कांग्रेस पार्टी अगर उसको विरोध कर रही है तो उसका कारण है कि दिल्ली की शराब नीति का विरोध अगर किया है किसी ने एक लंबे समय तक, तो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया है। धरना प्रदर्शन किया है, केजरीवाल का घेराव किया है। हम लोगों ने तमाम तरीके प्रजातांत्रिक वो अपनाए हैं जिससे कि हम लोग ये कह सकें कि ये शराब नीति जो उन्होंने बनाई है ये बायस्ड है, ये अपने आप को फायदा पहुंचाने के लिए बनाई है, और जो शराब नीति बनी हुई थी वही दिल्ली के लिए उपयुक्त थी। तो इसलिए ये कहना कि कांग्रेस पार्टी क्यों विरोध कर रही है,
नहीं, हरिशंकर
अपोजिशन
गुप्ता
की
जी,
एकता के
यहाँ
नाम
पर तो शांतनु सेन बोल रहे हैं कि आपने उन्हें गिल्टी पहले ही से प्रोनाउंस कर दिया, वो तो
नहीं,
इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो रहा है।
मैं इससे आगे बढ़ना चाहता हूँ।
हाँ,
शांतनु सेन जी ने जो बात कही है,
हाँ,
ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। सुबह से 6 डिबेट में कर चुका हूं, कहीं पर भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन को जिक्र नहीं किया गया। सीबीआई ऑफिसर्स जो हैं वो आकर बाहर हमें थोड़ा बताएंगे कि हमने क्या क्या डिस्कस किया है। ये जो भी कुछ हो रहा है ये हालात के ऊपर चर्चा हो रही है। और मैं एक बात यहाँ पर साफ कहना चाहता हूँ, वो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि किसी ने भी इसका जिक्र नहीं कर रहा है कोई कि किंग पिन कौन है इसके अंदर। मंत्रिमंडल के संज्ञान में, मंत्रिमंडल के फैसले के बाद ये जो लिकर पॉलिसी है ये लागू की गई, और केजरीवाल की प्रेजेंस के अंदर ये तमाम बातें हुई हैं, तो केजरीवाल को क्यों छोड़ दिया जाए? केजरीवाल से ही पूछताछ होनी चाहिए। सीबीआई ने चार्जशीट में या एफआईआर में केजरीवाल का नहीं नाम डाला, क्या बीजेपी केजरीवाल को बचाना चाहती है?
आप तो
केजरीवाल का नाम भी उसमें आना चाहिए, उससे पूछना चाहिए।
भी इन्वॉल्व है।
मंत्रिमंडल में बकायदा पास हुई है पॉलिसी, सारे ड्राफ्ट बने हैं,
नहीं,
पास
लेकिन
हुई है।
हरिशंकर
और
गुप्ता जी,
पॉलिसी
जब
का
आप ये
ड्राफ्ट,
बोलते हैं कि बीजेपी केजरीवाल को बचाना चाहती है, तो क्या
इसका
इस
मतलब तो
पॉलिसी
यही
में
है।
वो भी इन्वॉल्व है?
इसका मतलब तो यही है, 100% में।
चलिए, वहां पर भी आरोप आ गया। जीवीएल नरसिम्हा राव,
कि इसकी
and then I'll give the final
पूछताछ
word to Priyanka Kakkar. Please go ahead, GVL Narasimha Rao.
You see, as per the FIR, as the excise minister, Manish Sisodia was named as the #1 accused in the FIR. And his own lawyer in the court today says silence is not non-cooperation. How is it cooperation? When you're as part of an investigation, when you're asked to provide information, to clarification, or to answer questions, you cannot choose silence. That cannot be. I find it rather very silly for any lawyer to argue that silence is not non-cooperation. So in any case, CBI, when it functions as an independent, you see today, are we not expecting our agencies to work independently and proceed against the corrupt? Do you want political protection for all political leaders? So irrespective of the nature of charges, corrupt charges against them, they should receive protection because they are politicians?
No, but
Otherwise, why are politicians
so Hari
like
Shankar
Akhilesh
Gupta is
Yadav,
making a different point here, GVL Narasimha Rao. Hari Shankar
no,
जी, सवाल क्या है भाजपा से आपका?
No. See, so
मेरा सवाल
I'm
ये है।
coming to that.
हाँ.
You see,
मेरा सवाल
as
ये है
per
कि
information
CBI को
available, you see, it is for the
होम मिनिस्टर
agencies
के
to
डायरेक्शन
decide.
दे कि जो इसका
It is
किंग
not
पिन है
decided by the
केजरीवाल,
BJP.
उसके खिलाफ
The
भी कार्रवाई होनी
agencies
चाहिए।
will decide who are all the accused and who are the beneficiaries of this scam. And it can reach anybody. Why should it stop at Manish Sisodia? I don't know.
Visible.
If they have
Who is the
evidence against
beneficiary?
somebody else or
Kejriwal
chief
and
minister,
Manish Sisodia
they will
both-
proceed against him as well. You see, unlike Kejriwal, today, I think somebody must show a mirror to Kejriwal. He went around the country alleging, making false allegations against every leader, could not prove any of them, and sought
कट्टर ईमानदार
apology
आदमी
from scores of
कहकर
people
आए
in
थे।
political class. Today,
कट्टर ईमानदार
when there is
आदमी कहकर
mountain
आए
of
थे,
evidence against
आज
his
उनकी
own
हालत क्या हो
party and
गई?
leaders, he claims innocence. I think this can't be, the cycle hasn't just turned full circle. Today he himself is in the dock. The Aam Aadmi Party is in the dock, and they must explain why Aam Aadmi Party or Manish Sisodia or Arvind Kejriwal should not be called outrightly, egregiously corrupt. The AAP leaders should explain.
Okay. Let me give the final word to Priyanka Kakkar. Priyanka Kakkar, the question is that I had asked you this question. Satyendra Jain is continuing in the cabinet. He continues to be a minister. Mr. Sisodia is a minister, someone who holds 18 portfolios. These are important portfolios, including education. And if he goes to jail, will he continue as a minister?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because they have ensured that all of our ministers have had at least one visit to jail, and they have ensured that Adani is protected and the JPs, there's no JPC probe on Adani despite definite and many requests. Also, it is the tragedy of the times that we live in that the sitting member of parliament is making untrue and misleading statements on your television. It is, sir, it's just unfortunate for the times that we live in. My question to you, sir, is okay. अब आप ये सारी बातें छोड़ें, ये बता दीजिए कि सर आपने हम पे जांच बिठा ली, हमें जेल भी भेज दिया सजा से पहले, और ये लगातार हमारे साथ होता रहता है. हम सिर्फ एक जांच की मांग कर रहे हैं सर, जेपीसी की. आप वो क्यों नहीं बिठा रहे? बस सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है सर. हम तो भुगत रहे हैं, हमें तो हो जाएगी सजा.
We have been debating that for a number of days, and we will continue to debate. But Mr. Kejriwal has proved to be a hypocrite. You claim that Sheila Dikshit would go to jail when he becomes chief minister. He did not even file an FIR against her.
You took the ACB from us in 2015.
Aam Aadmi Party which stands exposed today, and it is your turn to explain today, not to question others. On days when we debate other topics, we will talk about them. Today the question is about Mr. Manish Sisodia.
From us in 2015,
please tell us why.
We had the ACB till
Please tell us about the hypocrisy of Aam Aadmi Party, and tell us why Aam Aadmi Party became rottenly corrupt. That is the question today.
Sir, who do you think is an honest man? Nitin Sandesra or Hemant Biswa Sarma, against whom you published a book that is the most corrupt politician? You think Yedurappa is most clean? That is why you're making him CM again. Who is the epitome of मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम आपकी बुक्स में? बताइए आपकी पार्टी में कौन है? आपकी पार्टी.
चलिए इसका सवाल का जवाब जीवीएल नरसिम्हा राव शायद ऑफ एयर दे देंगे. जीवीएल नरसिम्हा राव, हरिशंकर गुप्ता, Priyanka Kakkar, Shantanu Sen and Kapil Sankla, thank you so much for your time. And let me go straight to the reporters who have been tracking this story very closely for the last 24 hours. Anshul Singh is joining me live from the CBI headquarters. Anshul, coming to you, is Mr. Sisodia back at the CBI headquarters? And will these 5 days of custody be at the CBI headquarters, or will he be moved to jail?
Well, yes, Manish Sisodia returned to the CBI headquarters minutes after that order came in at approximately 5:15 p.m. and approximately at 5:30 p.m. Manish Sisodia returned to the CBI headquarters amidst a heavy security that was following him. And yes, Manish Sisodia is going to remain in the CBI headquarters. I'll try and show you the visuals over here. The building right in front of me is the CBI building, where you can see that there are a series of lights that are on. And in this CBI headquarters itself is the jail cell in which Manish Sisodia will be kept. So yes, in the next, what we are expecting at this point is that in the next few minutes, the clothes and other amenities of Manish Sisodia will be brought here in his vehicle itself, and Manish Sisodia is going to be interrogated for the next 5 days by what we are being told, including the IO and senior officials of the CBI are also going to interrogate Manish Sisodia, because remember, the CBI is very, very clear of the fact that yes, there were many discrepancies in the manner in which this entire policy was initially drafted, and also the manner in which the policy was implemented in the national capital. And hence, there are many pertinent questions that the CBI needs answers to at this point in time, and that is the reason why the CBI is leaving no stone unturned in making sure that they have that list of questions with them of whose answers need to come from Manish Sisodia. Because remember, the main motive, the main point that CBI said today, that Manish Sisodia was still evasive in the kind of answers that he was giving, and he knew that he is going to get some time for the next interrogation to happen, and that is the reason why CBI went ahead and said that we need to continuously interrogate him, so that the answers that we are seeking from Manish Sisodia, that should come to the fore. So yes, the next 5 days are going to be very, very crucial, and after these 5 days, it remains to be seen if the CBI is satisfied with the kind of interrogation they have done, CBI is satisfied with the kind of answers that Manish Sisodia has given, or will CBI again ask for an extension of custody? Because remember, according to the law, CBI can seek CBI custody of Manish Sisodia for 14 days. Out of those 14 days, 5 days custodies have already been given. So yes, the next hearing that is going to happen at 2 p.m. On the 4th of March at the Rouse Avenue Court, that is going to be very, very interesting, and it remains to be seen if the CBI is still going to ask for some more time to interrogate Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia.
Let me get Ananya also on this story. Ananya, the argument that was made by the battery of lawyers who appeared for Manish Sisodia was that silence in his case is not being, evasive or not being non-cooperative. The question then is about custodial interrogation. Mr. Sisodia isn't really a flight risk, but why did the CBI go for an arrest and then has got 5 days for interrogation?
Well, the CBI has categorically stated before the court of law that Manish Sisodia has remained non-cooperative. He's not divulging the correct facts and is not, in fact, divulging the correct information completely. And he's non-cooperative in nature. Apart from that, they've also made a charge that he's destroyed certain amount of phones, which amounts to like destruction of evidence. Though that is a matter of trial, and we'll get to know as to whether or not this would come under the destruction of evidence, but this charge has also been leveled by CBI. But interestingly, what had happened before the court today, and the Central Bureau of Investigation securing a 5 days custody while battling against a battery of senior lawyers, that too not even fielding a ASG or in fact the Solicitor General, was something that was a little unprecedented. And this order, when the detailed order would come out, we'll get to know the reasons why in fact the court felt that all 5 days of custody that was sought by the Central Bureau of Investigation was actually granted. Because remember, whenever, usually in such cases, if at all 5 days are being asked, 3 or 2 days custody is given, and then things pan out, and when the investigation agencies come back, they show as to what they've done in those particular time period. So now on the 4th of March, when the CBI would be coming back, it would be informing the court what it has done, what investigation it has carried out, and what material has it gathered after quizzing Manish Sisodia, grilling Manish Sisodia for the next 5 days.
All right, Ananya and Anshul, thank you so much for your time. We are slipping into a short break. Up next, the battle in the northeast. Latest from ground zero, as voting is over in Meghalaya and Nagaland, where we get you the big exit poll numbers, also from the crucial state of Tripura.
Tom Vadakan, thank you for speaking to CNN News 18. And we have some more breaking news coming in. Now, the Karnataka BJP has slammed Congress over this ad controversy and has said that it is not a slip, it is about Maulana Azad's diminishing utility to fetch Muslim votes. Nothing else explained this. Congress has found new icons in bigots like Tipu Sultan. Congress uses Muslim icons for vote bank politics. So, big allegation by the Karnataka BJP claiming that this is not a slip-up, but Congress did it deliberately, as they think that Maulana Azad is not enough to fetch Muslim votes, and they prefer Tipu Sultan over Maulana Azad. And the Karnataka BJP has also claimed that Congress uses Muslim icons for vote bank politics. So a major war of words has erupted after Congress skipped Maulana Azad's photo in one of its ad in a newspaper. And now Karnataka BJP has slammed the Congress party, saying that it's not a slip-up, but Congress did it deliberately. Our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is with us to give us more details on this. Pallavi, now the war of words has erupted, and Karnataka BJP has also slammed Congress, saying that Congress uses Muslim icons for vote bank politics, and they deliberately did not publish Maulana Azad's picture.
That I would say it's very significant when it comes in Karnataka, because it's also a deeply polarized kind of a state. At least that's what happening just ahead of the elections. And the Congress certainly has been eyeing the Muslim votes in Karnataka. BJP very shrewdly playing on the missing Maulana Azad picture from the poster. And we were just discussing this a short while back, how despite the damage control being done by the Congress party, the damage has been done. It's given an issue to the BJP, to the opponents, and in fact voices from within the Congress party also come out on how the Congress is pushing of a soft Hindutva agenda, despite its defense, is not going to cut much ice, and just goes on to show how the Congress party is no different and can forego its legacy only for the sake of a couple of votes.
Congress MP Manish Tiwari has taken a dig at his own party by tweeting a picture of a newspaper article of Congress plenary session, and he said that contribution of Muslim leaders like Maulana Azad has been ignored. He tweeted, and I quote, "The Congress has a pantheon of Muslim leaders who struggled against vociferous tendencies, especially within their community, that led to creation of Pakistan and dedicated themselves to inclusive idea of India. Someone wants to airbrush their contribution from annals of history," unquote. So Congress MP Manish Tiwari has slammed his own party for not including the picture of Maulana Azad in a newspaper ad. And so this controversy has erupted and he has taken a dig at Congress. Our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is joining us to give us more details on this. Pallavi, can you tell us the whole matter, the whole controversy that has been erupted on Maulana Azad?
See, there have been several posters which were put up at the plenary session which talks about the Congress's connect with the freedom movement and also the fact that it has a rich legacy unlike the BJP. So the pictures of P.V. Narasimha Rao, all our former Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, all of them were there. What was conspicuous by his absence was a picture of Maulana Azad. We understand why Ghulam Nabi Azad has responded to it because he's no longer with the Congress party, but when Manish Tiwari, of course, puts it out, that becomes a little embarrassing for the Congress party. The insinuation which comes in is that the Congress now wants to go on a soft Hindutva agenda and therefore does not want to show its Muslim roots or Muslim legacy. Of course, a clarification comes in from Jairam Ramesh, but that embarrassment has already been placed.
All right, Pallavi, please stay with us. We also have some more information on this story. Now, senior Congress leader Jairam Ramesh has clarified on Twitter, saying, and I quote, "Today an ad released by INC did not carry a photograph of Maulana Azad. It was an inexcusable slip-up. Responsibility for it is being fixed and action will be taken. Meanwhile, this is a most sincere apology from us. He will always remain an iconic and inspiring figure for us and India," unquote. Pallavi, can you tell us more about this clarification that is coming from Jairam Ramesh on this whole controversy?
So, I was just mentioning, I mean, of course, it's an embarrassing situation, and despite the clarification coming in from Jairam Ramesh, I would say to a certain extent the damage has been done, and BJP certainly is going to lap up on this. One, of course, accusing the Congress party of being a false Hindutva agenda party, but more importantly, how opportunistic it is. It decides that it wants to project itself as a party which believes in the freedom movement, has a freedom movement legacy, but is also selective in choosing its legacy.
Right, Pallavi, as you rightly mentioned that the damage has already been done. Ghulam Nabi Azad has tweeted saying that after his exit, Congress, the BJPization of Congress has started. Can you tell us more about this?
I was just mentioning that also a short while back. Ghulam Nabi Azad, as we know, quit the party, and he's accused the party of many things when he quit the party. He accused it of, kind of false narratives, how it is completely not in sync, and how it just chases the BJP's agenda rather than having its own agenda. And that's exactly what he said. And he said that, the absence of Maulana Azad just goes on to show that the Congress no longer wants to associate itself with, the Muslim legacy. And this is something which is essentially wrong with the party.
All right, Pallavi, please stay with us. We have BJP's Tom Vadakan joining us on this.
Welcome back. It is the battle in the northeast with voting in Nagaland and Meghalaya coming to a close. 34 lakh electors have cast their votes to choose their representatives from 552 candidates. It is a three-cornered fight in Meghalaya where the main battle is between the NPP, which is National People's Party, BJP and the Trinamool Congress. In Nagaland, it is between the NDPP and BJP, which have continued their 40-20 seat formula from 2018 against the Naga People's Front and the Congress Party. So there are two blocks here that we are looking at. The voter turnout has been around 81%. That's really huge till 5 p.m. While in Meghalaya, it is over 74%. Tripura, remember, went to polls on February 16. Now, the big breaking news that is coming in of the exit poll numbers. One of the most trusted pollsters, Access My India TV Today Group, has put out its numbers now. According to Access My India, in Tripura, the BJP is set to return with a landslide. 36 to 45 is what the party is projected to win. The left could get between 6 to 11. Tripura, which is likely to get between 9 to 16, and others is 0. Matrize exit poll that is done for the Z group is saying that the BJP is likely to win between 29 to 36 seats, left between 13 to 21, and Tripura is between 11 to 16. They are also giving some numbers to the others, which is 0 to 3. The Times Now ETG group, though, is being conservative to the BJP. They are saying that the BJP could be around 24, the left plus would be 21, Tripura 14, and others 1. Now let's look at the Meghalaya numbers. In the state of Meghalaya, according to Matrize exit poll, NPP is likely to get between 21 to 26 seats. The BJP is between 6 to 11, the Congress 3 to 6. The Trinamool Congress is likely to get more numbers than perhaps the BJP and the Congress, that is between 8 to 13. Access My India is saying that the NPP, the regional satrap, is going to dominate the assembly clearly between 18 to 24. BJP 4 to 8, Congress 6 to 12, and others 4 to 8. The third state which has gone to polls is Nagaland. In Nagaland, it is going to be BJP which is going to dominate clearly with 35 to 43, NPF 2 to 5, and Congress 1 to 3. Access My India is giving a landslide to the BJP with 38 to 48, NPF 3 to 8, Congress 1 to 2. Times Now again, ETG is saying 44 to the BJP. NPF at 6, Congress 0, others 10. Let me bring in Kamalika Sengupta, who has travelled the 3 states to get us ground reports. Kamalika, you know, the BJP in Tripura in particular had been in talks with Pradyut, hoping that, you know, in case if there is a post-poll scenario, then they might need him. But if you look at these numbers, the BJP in the crucial state of Tripura is all set to return. And if these numbers hold. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. If this numbers holds, then it's a clear sweep for BJP. Now, there are, while I have traveled entire Tripura, the interesting thing which we saw that point of time, and if this exit polls comes in, it's correct. If it comes true in the second, then there are a couple of factors which has really worked for BJP. Number one is truly when we arrived in Tripura, the airport which Tripura had, which previously the Tripura airport was a very small airport. The first thing which changed the perception of Tripura, which we also did a story, is that the development, the infrastructure development, logistics development of Tripura. And let me tell you, to travel in Tripura, to go to the northern part of Tripura, it was very difficult in 2018, before 2018. So obviously airports, obviously this national highway connectivity, obviously this railway connectivity, these are the factors which went for the BJP. But if these numbers are correct, then the expectation which came up, it's the Bengal model, I'll say, because the expectation which came up with Congress and left actually did not work. If you see in these numbers, the Tripura Motha, the tribal factor, they are expecting, as we are getting it from the sources, that they were expecting a number which is between 10 to 15. So they are holding it, if this is right. but the lack of the party, the alliance, the seat sharing of Congress and left failed if these numbers are true. Specifically, Maria, we were discussing it previously also, that what happened in Bengal in 2016 when left and Congress came together, Congress vote did not turn to left. Now, this time also, I remember all the stories on the explainers which we're giving. This was a big question which we always raised, that will the Congress vote turn into the left votes? Now, if this is the number, then Congress is totally wiped out, and the Congress vote actually has not gone to the left. So obviously, the development factor is there, and the factor that BJP has been doing in other states is changing the chief minister. Last 1 year, perception-wise, Manik Shah was a much, Manik Shah's perception was much better in comparison to the previous chief minister.
Yes, so the BJP's gamble, Kamalika, which has paid off in number of states, may well have worked also in the state of Tripura when they went for that change of the chief minister from Biplab Dev to Manik Saha. Kamalika, I appreciate your time. Let me bring in my guest, Rajat Sethi, political analyst, who has been tracking northeastern states very closely. Rudy Vajuri is political analyst. I'm going to begin with you, Rudy. When we look at these numbers, many would say it's not really a surprise. The kind of development activities that have been visible in northeastern states is only something that will make these states go for the BJP. And Tripura is an example.
Okay, you want my reply to that?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. By the way, first I'd like to thank you for inviting me to be in CNN News 18. Now, from what you are showing on the screen about Tripura, well, I suppose number one, of course, it has to do a lot with development, certainly. Maybe the schemes also, the several schemes may have worked. And I think the fact is that the opposition, whatever happened, has not been able to consolidate its position. So I think that is very clear about it. Something to do with what has been visible development-wise, and the several schemes that may have gone into the rural areas especially, and enable the BJP to come back to power on its own.
Rajat, this is a formula that has worked for the BJP. Look what happened in the state of Gujarat. It has happened in the state of Uttarakhand, where they went for changing the chief minister. They went for the same formula in the state of Tripura as well, when Biplab Dev was changed, and in matter of few hours, you had Manik Saha take charge. What do you think works for him? He is a doctor by profession, seen as very down to earth, very available as a leader as well.
I mean, quite honestly, I think shifting, rotating chief ministers, moving some to organizational responsibilities, bringing new faces, this is a routine exercise with the BJP. They don't consider this as a very, very big issue. And I think more than anything, this was something wherein BJP didn't consider that Biplab Dev was necessarily a negative factor, because ultimately he was there in power for 4 years. So he, along with his colleagues, his cabinet colleagues, had laid the foundation for the growth story of Tripura. I don't think we should read too much into it. There are a good bench strength of the BJP in that state. And of course, Manik Saha has barely been there for a year, and he will consolidate his position in this term if he continues to serve. Larger point is that it is Prime Minister Modi, and it is his image that everybody relates to in the Northeast. Northeast has been orphaned for the past 60, 70 years. They didn't feel that their prime minister of the country was their prime minister also. This is for the first time, and I have lived there for 8 years, and I have been looking at politics of that region. I can tell you there is a direct connect with the PM. When PM comes in and makes a promise, it means something. So far, Congress...
And we saw that road show in Tura only recently.
You go to Nagaland also, that connect to the remotest corners of our country was just not imaginable. I mean, in the realm of imagination of the people of the Northeast. That is the singular factor and the most important factor which results in a complete decimation of the left and the Congress in these states. Congress, they were almost a challenger in Meghalaya elections. This time you will see they'll be routed. This time they formed an alliance. Kharge made a political statement that every party has to come together. But these, simple mathematics doesn't work. Look at what is happening in Tripura. Especially if you go by exit poll results, it's a complete decimation of not just the left, but also the Congress party.
Yes.
So all these, AC room discussions.
It is in fact, if you look at the numbers that has been put out by the pollsters, they are looking at left plus. They're not even mentioning the Congress.
They will win one seat in the whole state of Tripura. This is the state of affairs. I mean, none of the senior leaders of the Congress party even stepped on the soil of Tripura.
Okay.
If you have such a dispassionate opinion
let's see Tripura, how do these numbers hold on the day of counting? But certainly it's good news for the BJP in all these three states, particularly in the state of Tripura, which saw the ideological battle in 2000, 5 years ago. Thank you so much, Rajat and Rudy. That's all from me. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.
Manish Sisodia was asked to confirm where is that crucial file where notings about the discussions, the minutes of the meeting leading up to the decision to change the excise policy, where is that file?
First is the statement of C. Arvind. He was the secretary of Manish Sisodia, and this man very clearly said that neither in the expert committee, nor in the GOM, nor at the level of the cabinet, there was no discussion about increase of profit margin for the wholesalers from 5% to 12%. Secondly, Manish Sisodia personally instructed the excise commissioner to allot license to a company like Indo Spirits.
मोदी जी को लगता है कि वो किसी को भी जेल में डाल देंगे, उनको लगता है कि वो बिना किसी सबूत के साथ किसी को अंदर डाल देंगे, कोई आवाज भी नहीं उठा सकता।
अराजक अपराध पार्टी ना संविधान का सम्मान करती है, ना न्यायालय का सम्मान करती है, ना जनता का सम्मान करती है और ना कानून का सम्मान करती है।
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narsimhan. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, who is arrested in connection with the alleged corruption in the now scrapped liquor policy, has been sent to the Central Bureau of Investigation custody till the 4th of March. The CBI's plea for a 5-day remand has been accepted. Earlier in the day, the CBI had said that they were seeking a 5-day police custody for Sisodia after he was produced at the Delhi's Rouse Avenue court at 2 p.m. The routine medical examination was performed earlier in the day at the CBI headquarters by government doctor. This is what sources are telling CNN News 18. Sisodia's arrest is another big, high-profile action against an opposition leader after that of Satyendra Jain, Delhi's then health minister, in June last year. Delhi's deputy chief minister was arrested after nearly 8 hours of questioning on various aspects of the excise policy for 2021-22, which the probe agency says suffered from irregularities both in its formulation and implementation, allegedly intended to benefit people with links to the Aam Aadmi Party. The CBI investigators were not satisfied with Sisodia's answers. This is what an official has told News18.com, adding that he was not cooperating in the probe and avoided clarifications sought on crucial points. He gave evasive replies and did not cooperate in the investigation despite being confronted with the evidence to the contrary. Therefore, he has been arrested, the CBI said in a statement. So what transpired in court and what led to the arrest and, of course, the remand acceptance of Manish Sisodia? CBI's charge is that the profit margin was enhanced from 5% to 12% and Sisodia was heading the group of ministers constituted by the cabinet for the excise policy and that he could not explain why the changes were made. Manish Sisodia's defense is he claims that all the arguments about profit margin was approved by the LG. The LG, who is the complainant in the case, approved it in May 2021. CBI's charge, the CBI claims that the conspiracy was hatched in a secret manner. Sisodia's defense is he claims that his house office were raised and he appeared before the probe agency when summoned. CBI's charge is that we are asking for Manish Sisodia's phone, which he has been using since January 2020, to which Sisodia has responded that he can't give the phone a second-hand shop because for second-hand use because it has important data. Now, CBI's charge, it claims that Sisodia didn't cooperate in the probe and gave evasive answers when confronted, whereas Manish Sisodia says it can't be the ground for somebody's remand. Remand was granted, then that would be a travesty. But remand now has been granted because prima facie the court has found merit in the demand for a 5-day custody by the CBI. So how did the CBI close in on Arvind Kejriwal's deputy Manish Sisodia? Here's what CBI sources tell CNN News 18. CBI officials have said that a crucial file which contains details about how the new excise policy was drafted is missing. CBI also has said that the file with signatories to the decision and discussions leading up to the discussion was also missing. Sources say Sisodia couldn't answer about the whereabouts